Welcome back to the Alien Spaceship Talk Show podcast. And in case you're just joining us, you're listening to the Alien Spaceship Talk Show podcast with Emmy, Hikins and Trevor.
The face of it returned to what he was. In reality, he wasn't, and this was now manifesting itself in his behaviour. He became very obstinate. He was a good, decent man, I believe, a religious man, and he looked after his team when he was working, and of course he had a family. But it turns out that he became not only obstinate and difficult, but he started using the most gross profanities in his language. He was never a swearing person, but he was now doing this and becoming basically thoroughly objectionable to people around him, such that I think a few months after the event, his friends, colleagues, I don't know about the family, they don't say, but his friends and colleagues and acquaintances said, "This is no longer Phineas Gage, not the Gage that we knew." And I don't know what happened to him in the rest of his life. He obviously went on, he lived, I've got no record of him dying. He obviously has died since then, I imagine. But it was quite a unique case. But the point that it makes, I think, in an interesting way, is that if the brain is damaged, it totally affects our behaviour. Even a small brain injury can do that. Neuroscientists, doctors, they've long since mapped the brain. You can look at a picture of a brain and you can go around and it tells you what is responsible for all the different things, optimism, the arts, talents, all the rest of it. They know where these things happen. But even a small injury can totally affect someone's behaviour, as we see in things like Huntington's and other things like that. And of course, since that incident, which I think now is the late 1940s, I believe, since then we've had lots more evidence of what happens with people having strokes, brain aneurysms, degeneration, and so on. And people can see the dementia is another one. The effect of a tiny injury in the brain can totally change somebody's personality. Now, why do I tell that story? I think simply because it does illustrate a pretty powerful fact that what we are, our personalities, all those things we talked about, everything about us, they are dictated to by this incredible mechanism, this thing in our heads we call the brain. It's more incredible than any human could ever describe. It is just, and it makes us incredible life forms, to put it that way. I mean, we won't say aliens. I know you say you don't believe in aliens, but in many ways we are aliens, depending on where you're looking at it from. But we have these incredible bodies. And when you watching football at the weekend, as you did, I expect, I certainly went to a game on Saturday, but you see footballers, rushing around, crashing into each other, being kicked up in the air, all sorts of pressures, and yet their hearts keep pumping the blood. As all of us, if we're running, doing anything physical, our hearts keep pumping our blood around, all liaising with the brain and the other organs. We cannot praise highly enough just this existence, this strange existence that we have. But what we're trying to look at here is, do we have a soul? Now, I give you my view. There's something called astral projection, which when I was living at home with my parents, when I was young, we had a neighbour who went into hospital for an operation. And he was a lovely chap. George was his name. He's died now, but he was a lovely fellow. But when he came out of hospital, he told me this, or I told my family, this incredible story that when he had the operation, he actually found himself effectively on the ceiling looking down at his body and at the surgeon and all the anaesthetists, etc. And he heard all the things, or a lot of the things they were saying. Now, at the time, he thought, have I been properly anaesthetised? Well, obviously he was, because he was looking at himself. Anyhow, cut a long story short, afterwards, when the surgeon came around to see how he was doing, I don't know what the operation was about. But George said, thank you so much, everything seems fine, but I've got to tell you, I found myself on the ceiling looking down at what you were doing. And anyway, the surgeon was quite interested and said, well, what did you see? And he said, well, it wasn't so much what I could see, but what you were saying. And he said, what did you say? What did we say? So he actually recounted some of the conversation as he remembered it. And the surgeon said, yeah, he said, you've got that right. And he said, could I have been not properly put to sleep? He said, oh, no, if you weren't put to sleep or anaesthetized properly, you would certainly know about it. You would have known about it. You would have been in agony. So, but he went on to say that he's told this by people on a number of occasions, people he's had operations. They say they find themselves looking down on themselves. And it's what they say is an esoteric thing. It's called astral projection, basically an out-of-body experience. And if you think about it, there's so many examples of that, which we come across from time to time, maybe in the press or in a magazine, that somebody claims to have this out-of-body experience. Not.
We're going to take a short break now. We're back shortly. You've been listening to the Alien Spaceship Talk Show with Trevor and Emmy Hikins. The Alien Spaceship Talk Show podcast is looking for sponsors. If you're a company out there looking to spread the word about the products and services you provide, please get in touch with Deepstuff Radio Podcast on info@deepstuffrecords.com, or to use the contact form on our website to contact us, please visit radio.deepstuffrecords.com. Also, if you're looking to get involved on the Alien Spaceship Talk Show podcast, reach out via our Deepstuff Radio Facebook page. Thank you.